Welcome back to another video. I'm Elsa, this is my husband Barron, and our 4-month-old baby girl Coyote Lucille. In 2016 we bought a 13-foot fiberglass trailer that we lived in full-time on the road for 5 years. With the money we saved from this YouTube channel and our online jobs, we purchased 40 acres of raw land and built our solar-powered and heated home with our own hands. And now, for the first time in years, we're stepping into the parts of ourselves that we were always meant to play. Not the ones that we were taught, but the ones that feel true. We're rediscovering our honest selves and unraveling everything we thought we knew.
So cute.
So I realized the other night that this will be the first summer since 2022 where I am not pregnant. The first summer where I'm not sick with first trimester symptoms. Ever since that first summer, Barron has had to do most of the physical labor on our property on his own. And it's a lot. Filling the cistern from the well, carting the batteries around the property, working on the roof, managing our old paid-off vehicles, hauling and chopping wood, collecting our trash and driving it to the dump, and now relocating our garden beds and old water cistern from the A-frame.
Okay, wife, I need help moving that propane stove somewhere else. Wow, girl.
It's been a bit of a challenge on Barron's end to have to do all this on his own. It requires a great deal of stoicism to do the task that needs to be done because it needs to be done. A lot of these sort of forced maintenance tasks, like dealing with rodents, fixing cars, refining systems, they don't film very well for YouTube, so you never actually see them happening in the background. There is no one to call to do these things for us. He is the electrician. He is the mechanic.
Okay, I gotta show you this because I've been geeking out on it. This is my little Kafaru fanny pack. It's been my new favorite everyday carry thing. I got my Leatherman Skeletool here, my chapstick, my wallet, and my headphones down here. And then in this middle pocket I keep the keys to the car or whatever. And then my phone in the front pocket. And it's even got a little carabiner style clip for whatever. This middle pocket is big enough for small concealed carries too, which is just a sweet thing if you want to do that. But I have been loving this thing, especially since I'm in dad mode and I'm wearing short shorts. I gotta have better pockets. Oh, another cool thing about it is it's just big enough to slip like 2 diapers in there. So I can always be ready.
And while he's out taking care of the house and the property, keeping the lights on and the water flowing, I've gotten to rest and grow a new person. While I was pregnant, I got to spend extra time working with my hands, creating jewelry, playing with ingredients for new meals, and now that Coyote's here, I've gotten to make her my full-time responsibility. And there is not a thing I'd rather do than spend time with her.
Whoa, look
Strong
at that.
girl, holy.
Look at that tummy
Wowee,
time.
baby.
I've taken a lot of time off YouTube lately because I can't stand wasting time working when she's growing bigger by the second. Barron and I grew up and spent most of our lives in Kansas City, both the Kansas and the Missouri side for all of you who I know are going to ask. And in our city lives, Barron didn't have many opportunities to exercise his masculinity.
Come on.
Now, I know masculinity is a loaded word in 2025, typically being paired with the word toxic. But we kind of feel like as soon as something becomes toxic masculinity, it is no longer masculine.
You're gonna break the thing.
That behavior tends to be some kind of insecurity, in vain attempt to protect the ego.
Now this thing will never be right again. I didn't think I would ever bump into Dolly. What in the world?
You're strong.
In the city, Barron could only climb rocks indoors. He built businesses he didn't believe in and had a fish tank to feel closer to nature. He played systems-oriented video games to scratch his urge to build things, and played first-person shooters rather than hunting or shooting. The outlets to utilize strength, leadership, play, and grit were fairly contrived.
It's a new day. We have decided that we're gonna reorganize the living room.
Just barely. We have a new rug we have to put in. It's fun.
Speaking of projects, I'm just staring at the ceiling on this. That's another one.
We won't think about that right now.
And then I need to cover the foam in the A-frame.
No. Right now we're just putting the rug down.
Okay.
I was tasked with building a career for myself. My worth was only as much as my bank account was full. At one job, I worked in a cubicle sorting footage for a major corporation. At another, I filmed sports I had no interest in. They were lifeless industry jobs in the video field that I wanted to be in, but they were only the precursors to artistic expression. There was no room for creativity because there were rules to follow and deadlines to meet. I was a cog in the corporate machine, striving to make as much money as my male counterparts under the guise of empowerment. As a couple, Barron and I were homogenous in the city, doing all the same things and cultivating similar skill sets. We were both proficient at cooking frozen food from Trader Joe's. We took our cars to the shop for maintenance. We exercised at the gym. We didn't have anything to build or children to raise, so our duties were almost exactly the same.
We need a tractor.
There was no reason for Barron to exercise his strength or for me to hone my artistic skills. Our number one focus was bringing in enough income to pay our expenses each month. We had to convince ourselves that life with kids was not desirable because it was actually impossible to attain. Each of us working full-time to be able to afford our cost of living, there was no chance we'd ever be able to afford a house or start a family. So yeah, let's believe that we don't want any of that anyway. I was told that a child would ruin my chances for a career and my happiness as a whole.
Okay, you hungry.
Oh my gosh. Oh, don't wake up the baby. Don't. Rogue. I'm over here with my hands preoccupied, so I'm going to send Barron over to get my loaves of bread I just made.
You gotta film yourself opening it up, your real, true, honest reaction. I've never made 2 loaves of bread before at one time.
Ooh. They got brown tops. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold this with this little pincher. They look pretty perfect. Wow. Seems good.
Great.
Aha, both just released perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
These basic loaves. Oh, careful with her! Stop
Give it a little slap.
Stop it.
Give it a little slap. It's kind of nice.
It does have an interesting bounce. Is not good. They only had unsalted bread. What? They only
Butter.
had unsalted butter.
We can have our own butter or bread. Fuck. Oh. Oh my god. You can just eat it.
Yeah, it has a lot of flavor. I added a little extra salt actually to the bread recipe too.
I don't know. Granny Doreen better look out.
For real.
Psytrance pairs well with
Bread.
slabs of bread with butter.
This year, because of Le Bebe, we're just planting all starts. We're not doing anything from seed, and we didn't do any of our own starts. We're just getting them from neighbors and buying some. Our season starts so late in the year, and it ends so early. So our gardens have just been experimental every year. Gosh, you look so cute. You're looking so much like your dad. Oh, pretty girl. Okay, what do we want? I always like to have a bunch of greens and then a certain amount of root vegetables, but root vegetables take up a lot of space in a garden, and we don't usually have very big gardens. These all look so good.
I'm suggesting that Elsa pick herself a flower, and she's acting like it's the most stressful thing that's ever happened.
It's not stressful. I just picked out like 15 vegetables. That's what I'm after. It's not flowers.
You deserve flowers, though. Hi, Hoodie. Oh, baby. You just set it on the ground.
Whoa, nice. Yeah. Nice.
You ready? We got our vegetables?
Huh?
Do we need to be better TV personalities?
Are you asking me or the internet?
Both.
I could sure be better at
Hey, what's up, you guys?
faking like I'm excited.
This is gonna be a fun project today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Flex for the camera real quick. Hit that, smash the like and subscribe, please. Thank you. I have never been so happy in my life as today. I just love being alive and doing projects outside. I just am having the most fun for my life. I just can't wait for today. Anyway, hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps us out a lot.
Barron always held the vision of jumping off the cultural treadmill and seeking a life that was more aligned with his soul. It took me a while to catch on because I was afraid to challenge the status quo. And even more so, I was afraid of stepping out of it. But eventually, we purchased a 13-foot trailer and lived in it for the next 6 years, traveling the western half of the United States with the goal of finding ourselves in the place that we wanted to call home. Barron really kept us alive out there. He was inspired by our freedom from the trappings of stuff and status. He did the research on solar systems, installed a wood stove in our tiny camper, and because our vehicle was an extension of our tiny home, he quickly became an incredibly capable mechanic. I had the time to unleash the artist that had been bound up inside of me, and ironically, my art that was full of passion became more lucrative than any of my jobs in the city. We learned the great utility in being able to lean into the things we're naturally good at, which made us a far more dynamic and effective team. In purchasing 40 acres of raw land, Barron absolutely bloomed like I'd never seen before. He had a blank canvas in front of him to satisfy his long-silenced ancestral yearnings. He was building us a home, lifting logs and blocks instead of dumbbells. He put on muscle and necessary fat by eating the meat that he hunted himself. And watching him tapped into my cave woman brain, giving me the huge urge to have his babies. And I did.
Wowee. Oh, nice.
We're at above 8,000 feet high, and it gets so spicy in direct sunlight out here. In case you don't know, we are on a whole hill of solid rock. That's why we're doing garden beds instead of in-ground garden. And sometimes it feels like our property is kind of hard mode. But it makes it more fun. We have to be creative. I want to make burgers. I just got a hankering. Well, mostly because I made a pretty piss poor loaf of sourdough the other day and we got to figure out what to do with it. It tastes fine, it's just super dense. I don't know what I did wrong, probably a plethora of things. For the longest time, I had such a big hurdle that kept me from making burgers. I thought you had to make burgers so complicated. I thought they required breadcrumbs and egg and seasoning. Turns out, you don't need anything, but maybe some salt and pepper. This is grass-fed beef. I am gonna do some onion powder and garlic powder. And salt. When we lived in the Scamp and the A-frame, it also just made me freaked out that I couldn't wash my hands. So I didn't ever want to make burgers because it's kind of messy. It's kind of gross dealing with a bunch of raw meat. I will be honest with you and tell you that I've only made burgers like twice, ever. I want to make smash burgers. What's a normal burger? Quarter pounder. This much burger? Quarter pounder. What about a half-pound burger? We'll just do a half-pound, I guess. Will we? I don't know. What do I do? Maybe I'll split this into thirds. Smash! Yeah, serving up the burgers. Little salt. I have no idea how long to cook this. Oh my God. Not bad. Not bad. That is very good. I was just craving a burger. Breastfeeding hunger really is intense. I'm hungry all the time.
Wow. Nice work. That's delicious.
Baby's awake. Hi, honey Blimey. Pre-pregnancy, I wondered what kind of mother I'd become.
Hi.
Barron would agree that I was never especially nurturing, having never been especially nurtured. I was never guided by women and had no female role models. I spent all of my adult years fighting to prove myself in a heavily male-dominated industry. I was trying to be like the men. In motherhood, would I hold regret and wish for my previous life? Would I want to be a boss mom and give my baby to someone else while I advanced my career? I truly had no idea. Turns out, motherhood was the role that I never knew I'd always wanted. All my life, it had been sold to me that being a mother was a limiting path that didn't hold much cultural virtue. Well, they lied. I've come to find out that this is the most important and fulfilling thing I've ever done. While Barron's out keeping all of our systems afloat, I'm in here refining my sourdough and breastfeeding my sweet baby, and to me, that doesn't seem so bad. There's no cubicle or timesheet in the back of my head calling my name, just the giggles of my 4-month-old with a light in her eyes that brings joyful tears to mine. And also, this is not to say that we don't operate in non-traditional ways. I still tend to bring in our income because I like to. And Barron is the one who keeps our lives clean and organized. We've simply found a new and beautiful harmony over the years in harnessing the most divine inherent parts of ourselves. I can be strong, but Barron's stronger. Barron can be nurturing, but I have boobs. Okay, I'm gonna cut this now. Do you want to come have a piece?
It's unfortunate that we don't have any butter.
I know. What the heck? We've had so much butter for so long, and now we have none.
Just gonna have to do it raw.
It's a good indicator. Look at that! Look at that!
Bigger holes? Is that what you're looking for?
Yes,
Bigger bubbles?
I think I. Okay, it's probably too soon to cut it, but
Bummer.
that actually is a thing. You can't cut into sourdough too early.
What else you want? Then you gotta eat it all. This is like a donut good.
You like it?
Yeah, try it.
I think I did it. It's not chewy.
You cooked it perfect too.
Yes, I raised the temperature. ChatGPT gave me the recipe. I think at elevation I need more water than what I expected. Yeah.
We should probably not talk and crunch. I would click off the video immediately. It was fun digging around the garden yesterday.
Yeah.
We should continue with this soon. Maybe as soon as Odie wakes up.
Can you imagine gardening with 2 babies? We're thinking we might wait till Odie's 3 or 4 before we have a second, so that we can give all of our energy to her, and then she can be maybe a little bit more helpful with a little baby.
So we're both trying to get as healthy as possible, and I'm taking it seriously this time around too.
Not that I
wasn't before, but
we kind of learned that with the miscarriage. Should we just talk about the Needed promo now?
probably. Like in the world of health, might as well.
We're sponsored again by Needed. Pull those suckers out of the drawer. I've talked a lot about Needed's collagen, and just to give you a little update, so far I haven't had any postpartum hair loss. The only loss of hair I've had is from Odie pulling it out of my head. But it seems like it's doing really well, and they say that it helps with postpartum hair loss. I've talked about a bunch of the products that Needed has, but I don't think I've ever mentioned that they do have a men's line.
And I've been taking the sperm support specifically, and you may be wondering why. If you're not trying to get pregnant, why would you want to have healthy sperm? That seems like risky. But the idea is that sperm health is a big indicator of overall well-being and health, and it takes a while to get your health and sperm health dialed in.
There's an article on Needed's website that was talking about how sperm rates have declined by 50%. And that's because so many people are so stressed out at work, they're not getting good sleep, poor diet, lack of exercise.
No sunlight. It's all of the just cultural factors lead to bad health outcomes, and that also leads to low sperm health.
You had actually been taking all of these, not all of them, but most of the things in the sperm support before we got pregnant, individually.
And just generally speaking, even before we were thinking about getting pregnant, because it's all good stuff for like general health and well-being and testosterone support.
So when we saw this specific product, it was like, wow, you have it all in one. That's kind of nice.
And then also I've been taking their men's multi omega-3 and cognitive support.
I'll leave a link in the description if you want to get any of these products for yourself. And if you are thinking about conceiving anytime soon, it might be wise to get your husband on.
Like a similar program, health-wise and supplement-wise that you're on.
Because what's not talked about enough is sperm is a huge factor of the viability of a pregnancy. You can use code ELSA for a discount on your first order or subscription. And thanks again, Needed.
Appreciate y'all.
Can we keep eating the bread now?
Yes, please. Gosh, I can't handle it.
That means it's good, it's crispy.
Yeah, but it's just as delicious with your mouth closed.
Hi. You happy? Yeah, we always pretty happy. Yeah. We are hyper-oriented toward personal sovereignty and freedom to an extent that some might find problematic, so we're in full support of everyone doing what lights them up. There are women who truly don't want kids, and there are men who really like paying other people to work for them. And what's amazing about today's world is that you can do whatever you want. Equal opportunity for all is an incredible dream and goal, but the cultural pendulum tends to swing pretty hard either way. Career boss woman or stay-at-home mom, for example. And often, virtue lies in the middle ground. Just because a way of doing things is old doesn't mean it's antiquated. Maybe both can be great. Life can be lived in phases, and it doesn't serve us to adhere to rigid binaries. If we were to give anyone unsolicited advice, it would be to honestly listen to your deep, soulful yearnings. Do everything in your power to live true to that longing inside you, because at the end of the day, the world doesn't need more people blindly following blueprints handed to them by someone else. It needs more people living lives that are wildly honest, lives that are shaped by instinct, integrity, and intuition. The kind of life that might not always make sense on paper, but feels deeply, unmistakably right in the marrow of your bones. Whether that's raising a child in the quiet rhythm of nature, or rewiring your definition of success altogether, the truest life is the one that you choose with your whole heart. So if you're waiting for permission to leap, to let go, to reimagine what's possible, consider this it. Your life is a canvas too. Paint it with conviction, build it with love. Your soul was not made to be silenced, it was made to sing.